In a quiet rural town in Georgia, there lived a spirited 16-year-old girl named Sophie. Known for her playful mischief, Sophie had a knack for bending the rules. While her antics brought laughter to some, they also caused trouble. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, often dismissed her dishonesty and petty theft as harmless pranks, convinced she would grow out of it. But Sophie's small acts of dishonesty would soon lead to a life-altering lesson. One hot summer afternoon, Sophie was returning from the river with a basket of freshly washed laundry when she noticed Aaron, the blind beggar. Aaron was a familiar figure in town, always seated under the sprawling oak tree by the riverbank. With his tin cup resting beside him, he greeted passers-by with a kind word or song. Most people dropped a coin or two into his cup, charmed by his good nature. Sophie, however, saw an opportunity. As Aaron dozed under the shade, Sophie tiptoed closer, her heart racing with both excitement and guilt. She carefully picked up the tin cup filled with coins and quickly slipped away, clutching her ill-gotten gains. Her mind buzzed with plans for how she'd spend the money, but as she reached the edge of the woods, a chill ran down her spine. She glanced back and froze. Aaron was gone, not just gone from his seat, but completely vanished. Terrified, Sophie dropped the tin cup and ran home, locking herself in her room. That night, as she drifted into an uneasy sleep, a strange itching sensation crawled up her legs. When she flung off the covers, she screamed in horror. Her legs had transformed into those of a goat. Covered in coarse, brown fur with cloven hooves, they were unmistakably inhuman. Hearing her cries, Mr. Carter rushed to her room. He recoiled at the sight of her legs. "Sophie, what happened?" he demanded. Through sobs, Sophie lied. "It was Aaron. He cursed me because I refused to give him money." Mr. Carter, furious, promised to confront Aaron. The next morning, he marched to the oak tree by the riverbank. But Aaron was nowhere to be found. The townsfolk whispered rumors that Aaron had been a wandering spirit all along, sent to test people's kindness. Desperate, Mr. Carter sought help from local healers, but no remedy worked. One healer, known for her mystical insights, revealed the truth. Aaron was no ordinary beggar. Your daughter's greed and dishonesty angered him. The curse will remain until she proves she has learned the value of kindness and integrity. Under pressure, Sophie confessed the truth to her father. Heartbroken and ashamed, Mr. Carter insisted she take responsibility. Sophie decided to return to the oak tree, hoping to uncover Aaron's intentions and make amends. For days she sat beneath the tree, enduring the whispers and stares of townsfolk who mocked her goat legs. On the third day, a sudden downpour forced Sophie to seek shelter in a small, decrepit cabin near the river. Inside, she found an elderly woman lying on a threadbare cot. The woman's frail body trembled with fever, and her sparse belongings hinted at a life of struggle. Sophie's heart softened as she helped the woman tidy her home, fetch water, and prepare a simple meal. "Why are you so kind to me?" the woman asked with a weak smile. Sophie's voice wavered. "Because I've learned how much harm selfishness can cause." The woman's gratitude filled Sophie with a warmth she hadn't felt in days. For the first time, she understood the joy of selfless giving. The next day, Sophie encountered a young boy named Jamie by the river. With a battered bucket in hand, he was collecting water, his face etched with sadness. "What's wrong?" Sophie asked. Jamie hesitated before speaking. "My stepmother treats me badly. She barely feeds me and makes me do all the chores." Moved by his plight, Sophie handed him a piece of bread from her basket. Jamie's eyes lit up as he devoured it. Before parting, he gave Sophie a bracelet. "This was my mother's," he said softly. "It's the only thing I have left of her." Later that evening, Mr. Carter returned with a renowned mystic, Ms. Evelyn, hoping she could lift Sophie's curse. When Evelyn saw the bracelet in Sophie's hand, her face paled. "Where did you get this?" she demanded. Sophie explained it belonged to a boy named Jamie. Tears welled in Evelyn's eyes. "Jamie is my son," she whispered. "My family took him from me years ago to force me into the role of a village priestess. I've searched for him ever since, but dark magic kept us apart." Determined to reunite them, Sophie led Evelyn to Jamie's home. There they found his cruel stepmother berating him. Fury blazed in Evelyn's eyes as she raised her hands, chanting a spell. The stepmother let out a scream as her form twisted into that of a goat, mirroring Sophie's earlier curse. At that moment, Sophie's legs began to tingle. She looked down and gasped as they returned to normal. The curse had been lifted. Aaron's mission was complete. Sophie had redeemed herself by helping those in need and reuniting Jamie with his mother. Evelyn and Jamie embraced, their tears mingling with the rain. "Thank you," Evelyn said, turning to Sophie. "You not only reunited us, but you also showed the courage to change. That is true redemption." As Sophie returned home, she felt a profound sense of relief and purpose. Her experience had reshaped her understanding of integrity, compassion, and responsibility. From that day on, Sophie dedicated herself to acts of kindness, helping those in need, and teaching others the lessons she had learned. This story reminds us that our actions have consequences and that dishonesty can lead to unforeseen troubles. Sophie's journey shows the transformative power of taking responsibility, acting with integrity, and treating others with compassion. It teaches us that redemption is always possible, but it requires courage, selflessness, and a willingness to change. If you've ever experienced similar stories in your life, don't hesitate to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. We would love to hear your story.